On my channel, I've been talking about several notorious Orthodox bishops. Now it's time to talk about priests. You probably remember the difference between bishops, the church leadership, and priests, the main body of the clergy that deals directly with laymen. Some of the priests are no less impactful, and their biographies are probably even more fascinating. Today I'm going to talk about Father Daniil Sysoev. He was a controversial and very influential Orthodox missionary, a priest, online and TV personality, and sadly, a martyr. Born in 1974 in Moscow, he grew up in the family of a priest. Since his early childhood, he was a devoted Orthodox Christian, and after school he entered the Moscow Spiritual Seminary. He married Yulia Brikina, and after graduation he became a deacon. During his studies in the seminary, Sysoev earned the reputation of a zealous and uncompromising theologian. Some of his mates reminisced that he entered the seminary not to be taught, but rather to teach others. His impulsive and straightforward attitude would later attract many followers and critics. From the start of his ministry, Father Daniil often conflicted with other priests and even bishops, his superiors. In the year 2000, he defended a doctoral dissertation on Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses, and next year he was ordained a priest. After serving for 2 years, he initiated a new congregation and the construction of a church in the name of his patron saint, the prophet Daniel. For that, he received a blessing from the Patriarch Alexei II. In 2005, the Moscow administration authorized the construction of the church, but in 2009, the Department for Natural Resources intended to demolish the church, citing legal violations. After and probably because of the Father Daniil's death, however, the church is no longer under the threat of demolition. Father Daniil is most notorious for his missionary activities. Apart from active preaching and giving sermons in his church, he actively preached publicly on every occasion. He was invited to teach, preach, and participate in debates all over Russia, on the TV and online. He actively posted online in the major platform of the 2000s Russia, LiveJournal. The topics of Father Daniil's sermons and speeches were diverse and most timely: morality, sexuality, abortion, politics, history, and of course theology. However, his specialty was preaching to Muslims. He engaged in debates with notorious Muslims, traveled to Muslim regions, and proudly reported on converted Muslims. He used to say that it was the most important to him due to his ethnic background. His mother is Tatar and her grandfather was a mullah. Apart from converting Muslims to Orthodox Christianity, Father Daniil was very critical of Islam and everything that Muslims consider sacred, starting from the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad. For that he earned himself many enemies, received numerous death threats, and eventually he was murdered in his own church by an Islamic radical in 2009. Father Daniil's funeral was attended by thousands of people and the newly elected Patriarch Kirill. His murderer was reportedly shot by the police a year later in Dagestan. His large following carries on his legacy up to this day. There are books, online posts, and videos of Father Daniil's sermons, lectures, and opinions on various topics. There are active voices calling for his beatification as hero martyr, a cleric murdered for his faith. This could be the end of the video, but unfortunately for his family, the story is not over, still 15 years after his death. His widow, Yulia, soon remarried, and his 3 underage daughters got a stepfather who claims to be a spiritual disciple of Father Daniil. Yulia and her new husband, Sergei Stanilovsky, started actively publishing books on the legacy of Father Daniil, earning themselves quite a good living. They were able to buy numerous properties in Russia and the US where they would eventually move. However, Sergei turned out to be a child molester. He first sexually abused the older daughter of Father Daniil, and when she became an adult and moved out, he switched to the next daughter. At some point, she reported her stepfather to the police, but after an enormous pressure from the family, retracted her report. The family then moved to the US, where Sergei went on with the molestation. Reaching adulthood, the second daughter managed to leave the family and started the battle for her younger sister. Currently, the younger sister lives in a friendly family, and the whole situation is put on hold, leaving 3 young women traumatized and their molester at large. Please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I see you all next time.